So I just got a brand new RC car, and it is the Losi Micro B, which is a 1/24th scale 2-wheel drive buggy. I already got a Losi Micro T a while ago, and this one has the same color scheme and looks pretty similar, but there is some key differences. I actually bought 2 Micro Bs because the other one's going to be for my friend, and we're making a huge track in his garage. It's going to be awesome to race them around. But anyway, the Losi Micro B is a ready to run tiny little buggy, which is actually really good for racing. It's designed by the same people who make the Losi race cars. That's the car that I won lots with and I absolutely love, and they even look pretty similar. The car's top speed is 13 miles an hour, which is absolutely plenty for indoors, but maybe a little bit lacking on the outdoor side. It has fully proportional electronics, a brushed motor, pro-line racing wheels and tires, adjustable oil-filled shocks, and a lot of other cool things. I think it's very interesting that it has a aluminum chassis. That's pretty rare for tiny cars like this. So it looks like an awesome car coming straight from Team Losi Racing, and it also comes in 2 colors. I have the silver one, but then I also have the red one for my friend. Looking in a little bit closer, we can see that the chassis is aluminum, as I said, but it is actually very strong and it looks pretty nice. All of the screws are absolutely tiny, but they're not the smallest screws, so they can still come out. I know in some cars the screws are basically impossible to remove, but these ones are actually pretty good. The size of the wheels is comparable to like a small coin, but they actually look pretty good. Even though they're so small, they're actually pretty nice and squishy. I think that these were gonna have lots of grip. The shocks are absolutely tiny, but they are adjustable, and that doesn't mean that they have adjustable collars, they just have the little spacers that you slot on. Right beside the shocks we've got these links, which I'll just pop on and off. I hope these won't pop off too often, but I guess we'll see. On the back we have metal drive shaft. In such a tiny little car, metal drive shaft is actually pretty crazy, and all of the out drives are also metal. The spoiler on here is absolutely huge. I think you're meant to trim it down a bit because it is really massive. The body just easily slots off. It's just a piece of Velcro on the back, and on the inside we have a very compact kind of setup. We've got our tiny Spectrum 2-in-1 ESC and receiver, our miniature little brushed motor, and this absolutely tiny battery, which is smaller than a standard AAA battery. So it is absolutely micro. For the steering servo, it's just a standard micro servo sitting in the front. And overall, the chassis is very well designed and it is very compact. Comparing the Micro B to the Micro T, the Micro B is a little bit longer, but they're the same width, and the Micro T has a little bit more ground clearance. So that's kind of standard because one's a truggy and one's a buggy, so that's to be expected. But overall, they look pretty similar. I think that the main differences are the fact that the Micro T has all 4 wheels the same, and the Micro B's back wheels are the same as all 4 on the Micro T, so they're all interchangeable. Another big difference is the design of the chassis in the Micro T. Everything is a lot shorter and more compact, and the Micro T's body just flips up while this one completely comes off. You of course get your standard Spectrum controller that you get with all of these kind of cars. It does the job, it's not too bad. It has your 50%, 100% knobs on the back, has all of the adjustments. It's a pretty good controller. Since this car is 100% ready to run, you also get your AAA batteries for your controller and the charger for the car, and then some extra tools as well. Then we also have a few useless pages and our manual. That is 100% enough talking. Let's go drive this little thing. And that's why I just spent like 2 hours making this huge track. But just look at this. It is just huge. We've got all the space around here. We've got this nice bridge over here. The track continues all the way up there. I mean, this track is just massive. As I said, the track is huge. We start here, which is the finish line. We go up there, over the bridge, under the bridge, over those ramps, then all the way back here through this massive straight, around this hairpin, and then back over here. The track is as big as I could possibly make it in my bedroom, but again, the car is really fast, so it might be quite difficult. Once we're done racing the Micro B, I'm going to compare the times with the Micro T to see what car is better for this kind of small track. But anyway, let's get driving. So as you all can see, this car is incredibly fast. So fast in fact that my brain cannot keep up how to do the turns and all that stuff. I'm all red, I'm sweating, but this is lots of fun. This track is incredible for this car. This is the Micro T now, and just so you know, on this entire video, both cars have been on 50% power. On 75 or 100 it was just completely uncontrollable, but 50% power was just the perfect, 50% power was just the perfect sweet spot. Anything more on the car was just completely uncontrollable. But still, even on 50%, I think it is too much. Yeah, this car is a little bit worse than the Micro B, I feel like. You can tell that the Micro B is longer, and that also means that it's a lot more stable, and it just handles better than this one, I think. But this is also incredible. Both the Micro B and the Micro T are absolutely incredibly handling cars. They're just, I can't imagine any better in this scale. But for this kind of track where it's really tight, I think even a little bit smaller would be better. But still, both of these cars offer outstanding performance. I think that the biggest difference between the two is coming out from the straight once you get to this turn here. The Micro T tumbles and flies over, while the Micro B still is stuck to the ground like it's with glue. It is literally just perfectly going around that corner, while the Micro T does sometimes flip over. But excluding that, the Micro T is also a really fast car on this track. I'm going to do some more laps with this one and see how fast I can get it, so then we can compare which one had the fastest lap. So in the end, the Micro B came out on top. It was incredibly close. Both of these cars are super quick, especially in a small track like that. But the Micro B just came out on top because that last turn, when you come out of the straight and the last turn before the finish line, that's where this car just literally pushed a little bit ahead. It is just so low center of gravity and it just handles so well. That is literally why this car won, just that one turn. As expected, there is absolutely no damage on either of these cars. They're both in perfect condition and they even look pretty good as well. I also changed the spoiler on this one. Maybe you can see, it's 3D printed now, just looks a bit better. Probably not a performance upgrade, but looks a little bit better, I think. So in the end, both of these are awesome cars and it's pretty much up to you which one you should get. This one, really good. It was really fun to drive, well, so is this one actually. So both of them are really nice and I would recommend both. Last thing I have to say is I just came back from my friend's house and we did build the track in the end. It was really fun. There's going to be a nice video about that as well. That's going to be soon. So for this video, I think that's all I have to show. I have a Patreon set up, so if you want to check that out in the link in the description, there's some extra videos, unedited clips, some like update photos and stuff. So some pretty interesting things down there. There's a link in the description if you want to see that. And for now, I think that's all. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see y'all next time.